Currently in reverse, so I'm just praying that the lights are on. Welcome back to the 206 WRX build project. I have ordered some more bits for the electrical system, mainly the power that goes from the isolator to the battery. I've ordered some more fuse holders and some connectors that will help me join it all together. What I can continue with is finishing off some of the heat shrink on this wiring on the relays. Then once I have figured out the positioning of this buzz bar, I can get the wire set up from the buzz bar to the relays. Now I'm going to label which relays are going to take power straight from the battery and the relays that will take the power from the isolator. Things that need to work when the isolator's off: the horn, the indicators for the hazards, the relays for the indicator lights, tail lights for the side lights. The rest can be powered from the isolator. If the buzz bar is going to be strapped to the top of the battery, to keep all the wires nice and protected, and the shortest route will be to come out under here somewhere. Next I'll take this cover off, then I can cut a section out at the base, and then all the wires can be fed from this panel up under and then onto the battery. I'm not taking any chances scratching this lens, so I'm going to film from way back here. Now that I know which route the wires are going to take, I can join the power wires to the relays, ready to connect to the buzz bar. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wires. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Next I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wires to the positive terminal on the battery. I spent a reasonable amount of time last night trying to get the light in the hazard switch to flash when I put it on. With the way the flashes and the relays are set up, it will mean running a lot more wires, which I want to avoid. I will need wires going to the flasher and from the flasher to the switches. So to keep things simple, the light will just be illuminated constantly when the hazard lights are on. I will still have the light indicators on the steering wheel flashing, so it will be obvious if the hazards are on. Some manufacturers' lights will flash, some won't, so it's not a problem if it doesn't. I now have all the wires that will supply the power to all of these relays in place. I just need to connect them to the battery side. My next job is to label all of the buttons so I know which need power from the isolator and which ones need power straight from the battery. Seem to have one spare, which I think was planned. So I have fuel pump, water pump, rad fan, tail lights, dip, main, park, wiper 1, wiper 2, fog light. No spare. There are only 2 buttons on this panel that need to be wired directly to the battery, and that is for the park lights. So we have the tail lights and the park lights. Now I need to get this fuse holder in place somewhere and then measure the length of the wire that will go up under the center console. So if 2 of the buttons are going directly from the battery, that means we're left with 10 that are going through the isolator. Because I only have 2 buttons, the fog light and the washer jet, that don't have relays, it means I only have to have 3 power wires coming from the isolator. I can run 1 wire that will power all of the switches with relays, as it doesn't need a lot of current, and I can have 1 fuse, whereas with the fog light and the washer jet, I need the appropriate fuse to run the device. All I've done is put the fuse holder roughly in place where I want it, under the cover by the battery, and then fed the wires up underneath the center console so I know how long they need to be. Then I need 1 more wire coming to the center console, and the rest I can join to the buzz bar on the battery. So to get 8 wires coming into one, I will use these small ring terminals. I can make 8 individual wires with the terminals on, and then I can actually bolt them to the main feed. I have all the power I need to get to the center console. I'm just going to label them up so there's no confusion. Now we have the power supply to the relays and the center console. We're now left with the power to the buttons on the steering wheel. I have already hardwired in the power to the indicator buttons on the flasher units, so we are just left with the headlight flash and the horn. Luckily I have labelled these power wires so I can put them through the same fuse holder with their own fuses. Headlight flash can go to the isolator and the horn can go straight to the battery. Next on the list is wiring the power to the brake switch. This will be fused straight to the power side of the isolator switch. The same for the controls for the heater, also the hazard switch, and I need to find the output for the reverse light from the gearbox, as I have the wire already connected to the reverse light. I don't have to extend this fuse, it can just be looped from the constant power from the isolator to the power on the switch. I think I've narrowed down the wire that comes from the gearbox to the reverse light down to 2 wires. I will connect the gearbox part to the loom and then I can test the wires. just need to plug this to the gearbox. Check we're in neutral. Into reverse. Next, I need to feed the power that goes from the light up into the front, and then I can test it. I've just hooked up power to those two wires, extended from the battery. We are currently in reverse, so I'm just praying that the lights are on. Excellent. Out of reverse. Lights are off. That's proof of concept. To finish off the reverse setup, I need to wire the power from the isolator. Then I need to hardwire in the wire that goes to the switch on the gearbox. Once I've done that, I can join the remaining two wires back to the loom, and I can remove the wires that I have superseded. We are slowly ticking our way through the jobs. When I get the right terminals, I need to finish the wiring for the fuel pump. I need to wire the ignition cutoff through the isolator. Also, I need to wire up the start button. I need to wire the battery to the isolator, isolator to starter, the list goes on. Next, I'm going to look at the main power from the battery. I have a couple of different size cables. I'm going to use some 40mm square, which is 300 amp rated cable. As this is the main power to the vehicle, I'm going to fuse it with a 300 amp fuse. The fuse holder comes with a couple of different size terminals, so I'm going to use the larger one, which will fit nicely to this cable. I want the fuse down there somewhere. So that's what the cable goes into on the positive side of the battery. Because of the thickness of this cable, it's important to get the terminals in the right orientation so they are the right angle for the attachments, because it's a lot harder to twist these cables. Now I can get the long stretch of the cable fitted to the fuse holder. I have two choices of the way I route this cable up to the isolator switch. I could run it up underneath the hydraulic handbrake and in this side of the panel, or I could cut under the centre console and go at the passenger side. That should be the main power feed, complete with the fuse done. I just need to do a final test fit to the car. As always, thank you for following along with this build project. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you very soon.